Welcome back to Inside Workforce Development, sponsored by the Tennessee College of Applied Technology. And we are talking about the TCAPs today. And these TCAPs, you said, are across the state. And how important is the relationship you have in the local communities where these colleges are located?
You know, a lot of people ask me, what's the typical program at a TCAP? And it's a program that's relevant to the economic development of that community and that service area. You know, there's no sense in training individuals for something that there are no jobs within driving distance of that area.
Makes sense.
So
yeah.
most every program is tied to that that local community. You know, for example, the aviation program at FedEx in Memphis, its partnership with FedEx is huge. You know, when you look at the FedEx's 3,400 aviation maintenance mechanics, about 1,700 have been trained at the TCAP there in Memphis.
Wow.
So when you think about your packages being delivered and different things, FedEx doesn't operate without TCAP students and graduates.
And is it really different across the state, and different corners need different skilled occupations, I guess?
There's some base programs. Almost all of our institutions will offer welding, for instance, or automotive technology. Those are practical nursing is offered at 26 of the 27. So you have some core programs that you see at almost all of our programs or our institutions. But then you'll have like the aviation program that's in Memphis, unique to that particular area, the Nashville and Morristown area. So sometimes it just really depends on what is in that community.
You know, you may have a massage therapy in Chattanooga, an esthetician program may be in Nashville, may not be in one of the rural areas. You know, the aviation program probably will not be in the rural areas. It'll be in larger, more metropolitan. Things like the diesel mechanics, those high-cost programs are strategically located across the state. They will not be in every site because you still have to have students.
Sure.
And enough students to keep a program operating.
And you talk about these programs and the great careers they can provide for you. Paying for these careers, though, that has gotten real easy to get that education out here in Tennessee.
It's wonderful. With the Tennessee Promise, your high school seniors coming out can go to a technical college with a last dollar scholarship. For the community colleges and the technical colleges. And then the governor also has a Reconnect grant that allows adults 24 and older, or unless you're declared independent by your FAFSA, that's also a form of paying a last dollar scholarship. So your tuition is never an issue at a TCAP. And then we also have the Wilder-Nafee Technical Skills Grant.
So Chris, when you look at this, a student can graduate with little or no cost. Go with little or no cost and graduate with no debt.
And that's the big thing. College students are graduating with $120,000 worth of and going to work for a $40,000 a year job.
It's a national crisis. Yeah, it's a national crisis right now. But that's not with TCAPs. That student can come out with a great salary and use it to initially start buying his vehicle, buying his home, feeding his family without paying off the debt. And I don't think you realize how important that is.
Sure, yeah. Sure. And we talked at the last segment about the average age there, 27, but the Tennessee Promise, that's targeting high school students. So are you working with local high schools to put this on the graduating seniors' radar?
Yes. Our institutions do a wonderful job working in their communities, both with the local high schools as well as business and industry, to get the word out, to let people know. And we have a dual enrollment program that's where the students can be a junior or senior in high school and come to a technical college, or the technical college will go to the high school and offer post-secondary training for them. So it's a wonderful opportunity to let folks know that what's available, and parents to know, because it is a cost savings as well.
Definitely.
And Chris, and I think back to on the Reconnect, is we need to be understand that the Reconnect is the Tennessee Promise for adults.
Okay.
And adults realize that they can have the same advantages of the Tennessee Promise. They can get a last dollar scholarship to go to any TCAP in the state at no cost. So so I think that gets overlooked sometimes with all the talk of Tennessee Promise. But how many adults out there that are either unemployed or underemployed, or looking to, or can not just get a job for some reason, this is the opportunity for them to go back to school and get a good career.
Or someone that's laid off from a position that's leaving the state, this is the time for them to get into a high demand position.
And then of course the Hope Scholarship we hear a lot of, and the Hope Scholarship is certainly the lottery-based scholarship for universities and community colleges. We have the Wilder-Nafee Technical Skills Grant that the Vice Chancellor worked very closely with legislators. That was our first waived to help students come back to school with free dollars.
And that's a $2,000 a year scholarship for every adult over in Tennessee if you've been a resident for at least 1 year.
So you have the Walden AFI, the Reconnect, and the Tennessee Promise.
Can you get both, or?
Well, it's the last dollar. So however
whatever one you
and
go to get.
our programs are also Pell eligible.
Okay.
So money is not a reason not to come to a TCAP.
And actually, many students actually have enough funds remaining from their Pell and all this to help with gas and things like this to get to school. So there's really no excuses.
Almost cost-free.
Cost-free.
For tuition, yes.
When do
definitely.
classes begin? Is it a typical January and September kind of semester schedule, or do they?
They are. We have a trimesters,
okay.
3 equal trimesters, and that's January, May, and September. But most of the programs, though, are open entry, open exit. So if there's an opening, that student can start nearly any time during the term.
Really?
Now there are cohort programs, like primarily the health programs, that are classes that start together and end together, and they start at a specific time that you can't start till that other class ends. But there are most programs, whether it's automotive, whether it's welding, whether it's machining, whether it's industrial maintenance technicians,
computer information.
At that position, and if that opening comes and you're on a waiting list, hey, you can start 2 months after the term starts.
So you really can't get much easier.
No, you can't. You can't.
We like to think we're pretty easy and provide a wonderful service.
And the faculty do a fabulous job. You can't have the completion rates we do, and we've got licensure pass rates, and those are students that take any state and national licensure pass rate of about 96%.
Wow.
So faculty do a good job, and they work hard to make sure every student is employed.
And you're starting to do a great job down in Smyrna, and big things are happening in Smyrna at the new TCAP facility there. We will talk about that when we come back. You're watching Inside Workforce Development on News Channel 5+.